Hello! Welcome to WonderCon at Home 2021. We would have loved to have seen you guys in Anaheim in person, but fortunately, the world being how it is, we cannot do it. But we thought it would be a crime if we did not bring WonderCon to your living room. You know, next year, God willing, we'll all be together. But for right now, we're going to make do. We have some amazing stuff going on at bluefinbrands.com in celebration of WonderCon at Home, which we are dubbing the Road to San Diego Comic-Con for you wrestling fans. And I'm going to make that stick. So, yes, some great items. We have some really, really hard to find exclusive items that we've kind of pulled out of the vault from past conventions. Things like the Blue Godzilla SH Monster Arts, the Brawly Figure Art Zero, the Vegito Figure Art Zero, some of the hard to get flame toys. You know, we got the Clear Optimus Prime model kit. We have the Bug Bite that was the New York Comic Con exclusive. So many cool things. A ton of great promotions. Speaking of the flame kits, if you purchase a flame model kit, every flame model kit you purchase off our website is going to come with a Sentinel X-Board stand. The super cool stands. It's got a nice black base. It's got the cool arm, everything that works really, really good. Our buddies at Storm are also highly represented. The Motaro Bloody Edition that was a New York Comic Con exclusive we're making available for WonderCon. It is a great figure. The Motaro is so big. I'm sure the skeleton will fall when I mess with them like this, but he's just so enormous. The tail is so flexible. It's got the nice wire going through it, so you can get up. No way that just happened. He just fell and totally stood straight up. Everyone saw it. It's on camera forever. In addition to the awesome Motaro, in honor of Justice League, which we're going to deep dive into very, very shortly, they've created a bundle of 3 of their awesome Injustice figures. So we have Darkseid himself, we have Doomsday, we have Lobo. All 3 come together for $290, or you can buy them individually. And, so much more. Shokugan is here. We got Sean. I'm sure we'll talk a lot of Shokugan in a little bit. We have, the Keyblades, 6 Keyblades for $36. They're great. They're the perfect size to either put on your keys to display, or maybe have an action figure hold them. They also have some great Gundam Converge sets. They have some Demon Slayer, and then they have this. This was the P Bandai. This was the let's see if my luck holds. This is the heavy full armor 7th Gundam Shokugan. This is an incredible thing. It comes with this cool stand, and he is loaded for bear. If you're hunting, whatever you're hunting, if it's Zaku, Space Marines, Super Saiyans, anything you might encounter in the galaxy, you will be set. So I think I've talked about everything on this table. You guys are tired of hearing me.
Oh, and he's gone.
We lost him.
Oh, no.
Whoa.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's come back. There
There he is.
Oh, I was always here. I think you just changed the screen.
Yeah, that was weird.
You were dead for a while. It was crazy.
Yeah.
You're talking too much. The only thing else I like to talk about is the contest. We are giving away a nice bundle of SH Figure Arts Final Battle Editions on our website, bluefinbrands.com/contest. You're going to get Thanos Final Battle Edition, Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, and the Iron Spider. So, promise, that's all I'll talk about for right now. Introducing the panel. We'll go top to bottom. Justin, how are you doing today?
I am fabulous, David. Thank you very much. Awesome job with the skeleton falling right on his feet. That's amazing. That'll never happen again.
All right.
And you see how easy it is to go right back in the hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I want to try it again, but it'll never work.
No, never. You retired champion. It's over. It's done.
It's over. It's done. We have a very special guest today. Sean is joining us. How are you doing today, Sean?
I'm good.
Awesome. Sean is our brand manager for Ghibli. We have the 15% off of Ghibli pre-orders. I guess I lied when I said the promos were over. And he also is the brand manager for Shokugan, which we have a lot of cool stuff for. So, and a big fan of the Snyder Cut. And so I think we have a full spectrum of people of excitement range of the Snyder Cut. So going to, I won't say the other end, but going to David Clark. How are you doing today?
I mean, it's Friday. I mean, you can't go wrong.
This is true.
That, so. I mean, I'm hyped just because tomorrow's not a weekday.
Yeah. Notice he didn't say not a work day, so not a weekday.
Oh, no.
There are no non-work days.
There are no days off.
That's right. We no longer work from home. We just live at work now. So that's the new paradigm. AJ, how the heck are you doing today? As I still can't get used to which way I'm pointing on this camera.
I think I'm the other way. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. Like David said, it is a Friday, so all things good happen on Friday. We got a bunch of cool things today.
We do, yeah. Speaking of all of our cool live streams, we are going to have 4 live streams today. Whoa. We've got 4 live streams today. We're going to be talking about the Snyder Cut right now. We're going to be coming back at noon, where we're going to have a kind of a who would win battle. We all picked some street level characters, and we're going to verbally duke it out. Maybe if someone comes to the office, we can physically duke it out, but I don't recommend that. And then at 2 o'clock, we're going to be coming back. We're going to be doing a live tour of the Tamashii Nation's New York pop-up shop. They have a virtual booth set up, so we're going to be kind of going through it and kind of highlighting some of the cool stuff they have there. They also have some of the hard-to-get items at the Tamashii shop as well. So if you're in the New York area and don't want to pay shipping or wait for shipping, just go to the pop-up shop. And then finally, at 4 o'clock, we finish it with a fun game of Who's That Transformer? All of us are Pokemon fans, so I remember those cool silhouetted Who's That Pokemon? Except now it's Transformers, so it's the only way that we were able to make it cooler, because Transformers are awesome. So Snyder Cut. We are talking about this. Sean, you are the guest. What were your thoughts on the Snyder Cut? Did you view it as an improvement over the Justice Cut? Did you feel that its length was appropriate? Just give us kind of like your overall general thoughts.
Well, for me, it's like I love like added features. I love deleted scenes and all those things. Like I think on the last streams, I always talk about like I'll watch the anime, then read the manga, and like I want that extra info. And so this was just like all that stuff. When you see things that are cut from the trailers, it's like, hey, that's that thing I saw. Hey, that's the thing I saw. Everything was there, and it was just like, for me, it was just like sitting there and watching like, ooh, it's like getting all the extra treats in your movie that you really want to see, and it's like it was pretty much just fan service. The entire film, just watching it and everything was just, I don't know. But for the length, yeah, it's like 4 hours long. But arguably, when you think about it, it was released on HBO Max. It's on a streaming service. It was designed to be on a streaming service. It wasn't cut to be in a theater to meet that like 2.5 hour like runtime to get all the people in the seats, to get it maximize the amount of viewings. It was cut to be like, here's the movie that Zack Snyder wanted to give you. And, if it wasn't 4 hours long, people would be complaining about it not having all the things that they expected or that he had to cut out. He'd probably say in an interview, I had to still make it 2.5 hours long. And fans are going to then say, I want those extra like 30 minutes, that extra 45 minutes that you had to cut from the film.
How dare you? That's great. Now, I'm really curious to hear AJ's take on it, because AJ is the single most positive person, and I can't imagine him disliking anything in this planet. And so, even if I thought he actually hated something, I don't think he'd be able to articulate that negativity in words. So AJ, what did you think of the Snyder Cut?
So I watched it on Sunday, and as soon as I watched it, the entire opening scene, the moment that happened, I was like, I don't remember this in the original movie, like the original cut. Oh, shoot. I don't remember the original cut too well. I don't know what's the difference. But now it's like in the back of my head where I'm like, I have to try to catch everything that was different. So the entire time, like, rather than focusing too much on the movie, I just try to focus on like, what was cut and what was added. And obviously it being 4 hours long, I'm like, where did we get extension? Like, where did it extend? And after watching it, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, I see where all the extensions are. I see everything added. I saw everything that was taken away. I think it was a pretty good movie. Like, it filled out some stuff that I had questioned from the original. Like, it's like PTSD. Like, as soon as I saw those scenes, like, it flashed back. Like, I remember this. Oh my goodness. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's a little bit better now. So I enjoyed it. I will say I did take little naps in between some parts, like 4 hours.
Now, did you pause it and take a nap, or did you just conk out during like 15 minutes of the movie?
I did tell Justin on the final battle against like Steppenwolf, I somehow napped and then woke up. It was right after the battle, and I'm like, how did I miss that? All right, I got to rewind it. So I went back, I watched it again. I'm like, that was it? It was only like a couple minutes? How did I fall asleep that fast? All right.
Got narcolepsy. So maybe we should throw up the spoiler warning. We will be talking about spoilers. It's been out for a week or so. So if you have not seen it or don't want to be spoiled, maybe come back and watch the replay of this. So David, what did you think of the Snyder Cut of Justice League? # release the Snyder Cut.
So I was one of those crazy people who I started watching it at midnight, like right when it released.
You're
and I went all the way to 4 a.m. because I was excited for it. It is an improvement over the Joss Whedon version, like for sure. It it didn't need to be half a workday. You know, I think they could have done like a solid maybe like 3.5 hours. But you know, other than that, I like the added cyborg stuff. You know, like kind of what they've been saying the whole time, that cyborg was supposed to be the heart of the movie. You know, that they actually paid that off this go around. And one of the things that I've always liked with the DC movies is the fighting is pretty good. Like I think they have a good grasp of like what it would look like for like Superman and Wonder Woman to be doing all these crazy things. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Nice. Justin Cavender at Edgy Armo. What say you?
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I agree 4 hours is pretty long, but the idea of them having chapters makes it easy for folks that maybe want to just watch a chapter a day or maybe 2 a day. We live in this this binging world these days to where it's not uncommon for you to sit on your sofa for 12 hours binging a show. So it's hard to argue over 4 hours when that's certainly the case. But I agree. I enjoyed it. I'm glad that I watched it. I didn't stay up till 4 a.m. I went the other route. I watched it after work on Thursday, and it was over by midnight. So yay for that. But definitely dug it. I like seeing Superman in a black suit. I thought that was really cool. And any Henry Cavill I can get, I'll take. So I just gotta wait till the 3 hour mark or so to get it. That's all. NBD.
Yeah, when he was wearing that his black suit, I was like, I don't remember that, but you know what? I'm pretty sure that's the change. Sure. So.
Yeah, I think I fall in you know, kind of the Justin and Clark camp. I think that it's 100% improvement. And I've realized over the last week that anyone who starts their thing saying it's definitely an improvement, there's a big but coming. and especially for me, it's definitely the length. I think that there's probably an incredible 2 hour and 45-minute movie in this 4 hour cut. I think there are some obvious cuts. You know, especially there's a lot of things I'm sure we'll talk about that segue into movies that will never happen. So, you know, they were fun teases for movies that don't matter or count anymore. I think that it's definitely an interesting exercise. You know, we're probably never going to see an event like this happen again, to where, you know, someone releases a movie and a corporation decides to completely go back on their word and, you know, release an entirely different cut. You know, this is more than just a director's cut. This is, you know, Zack Snyder's magnum opus, if you will. But yeah, there's definitely nothing that can be cut. I do like a lot of the new Cyborg stuff. I think that we could probably lose about half of it and still be fine. I think the father-son dynamic is more important than some of the other stuff we saw for Cyborg. You know, we could lose probably the you know, Flash's, you know, scene with Iris. You know, sure, that's great to see Iris West Iris West. That was right. Iris West and Barry Allen's first. They're meet cute, if you will. But
with hot dogs.
Yeah, that could be in the Flash movie. Yeah. Don't forget the hot dogs.
I will say that entire scene with like that truck, like it had me going, like I was like anxiety up there. I'm like, oh my goodness, this driver is trying to get his burger. Just leave it, dude. Leave it.
Yeah, let that be a lesson to everyone. Austin Trench says, will there be new Justice League figures? Maybe. I don't know. Did you buy the old ones?
I would like a Cyborg one.
Yeah, Cyborg would be cool.
Yeah, I bet there will be. You know, they, SH Regards they made Wonder Woman. You know, they made Harley Quinn and stuff like that from their films. So, you know, they're not above making more figures.
Sure.
Yeah. I think Storm's pretty focused on the Injustice line. So I think that's kind of where their head's at, because they do, you know, Storm really specializes in those video games. But I could see Tamashi, you know, coming out with like a black suit Superman or something like that.
Ooh, now we're talking.
That would be cool.
Man, speaking of Injustice, Clark mentioned Injustice the other day, and then I was like, man, I hate that storyline because I don't like Superman as a bad guy. So then I started.
I love it.
I played the hell out of it like in 2013 whenever the game came out, and then I started playing Injustice 2 on Saturday, and I just plowed through the campaign and had a good time.
It's the most real version of Superman ever.
It's
true to his character. I love Batman. I love Batman. I'm just saying Superman's just a villain waiting to happen.
Sure,
like Joker said, it just takes one bad day. Bad day.
I don't think that's accurate.
Clark wants us
he
to be
snaps like that. The
We've
Man
all
of Steel
had bad days.
out.
We don't do crazy stuff like that.
Well, just think of it, you know. So, David, in your everyday life, I'm sure you have to encounter and deal with just the worst of the worst, like people who are dumb, people who don't know stuff. just think that's Superman's entire existence of living with inferior beings. So,
no, for sure. If I had his powers, world domination immediately. That's day one. Like,
we already know
totally
this from
understand.
yesterday.
Of course.
He's gonna red sun this whole thing.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm still keeping track of when the mutants take over. I'm keeping track. So
I think the final score was we were all gonna get killed simultaneously, or did we change the order after the Megazord?
Yeah, I'm last place, right?
I changed my mind. So it's gonna be you first, David, and then Justin and AJ together. So
I'm after Justin? Oh my goodness.
I see the question on there. The Brawly is back up for order at bluefinbrands.com. He is
85.
Incredible. I mean,
hold on.
He's a big guy.
Let me get you close up.
It's a really good statue.
It is
bigger than my head, and I got a fat head. He's bigger than it. I should tell you
that was the first figure at Zero I ever bought because it just.
Nice.
I mean, look at it. It's big bad Brawly, man. You got to have that.
Yeah,
I have him fighting All Might in my room.
The box is pretty big too, by the way.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for translucent parts, and he's got the translucent parts. I'm all like, do I have the box down here? I got it somewhere.
I don't think so.
It doesn't matter. So Sean, what was your favorite, addition? It can be an addition to a scene. It could be, a whole new scene that we never saw before. But what was something that really stood out to you that really improved this version over the original version?
For me, it was just all the content there being like the cyborg stuff, like actually giving him a backstory was good. Like the original cut was basically he was almost like the Deus Ex Machina. It was like, oh, where are they? Where's everyone being held? Oh, cyborg, they're in that tunnel. And it's like, well, why do you have this power? Like even at the end, it's like, oh, I know how the mother boxes work. Here's all the stuff, and there was no explanation of like how he understood all this stuff. And now with like all these extra scenes explaining his powers, it gives more like backstory for everyone basically. So for me, it was just not just this one thing. Like there's nothing that really stood out to be like the added content in this one spot. It was just, to me, it's like a completely different movie, essentially. But then again, like actually, I think I'm the only person now after everyone talking is I actually watched it in two parts. So for me, like the original cut, it started going downhill right when they went to that tunnel, right when they met up with Jim Gordon and then went to the tunnel. So at that point, I was having such a good time watching this. I turned it off and waited to the next day to endure almost like I was expecting disappointment from that point. Because in the original cut, that's when you realized this one's not going to get any better. So, but altogether, like I enjoyed it. I guess one thing that probably added to it was giving that like the epilogue, the nightmare scene, kind of giving more explanation of that part. But I guess that was the only part that was actually a reshoot or an added shooting where Zack Snyder actually got everyone back together and shot that after the fact.
Yeah, the nightmare
got together remotely. Different rooms, different bathrooms, all over the world, recording scenes.
Yeah, Ezra Miller.
Green screen is amazing.
Ezra Miller was in Europe filming Fantastic Beasts, and then Leto was somewhere else. But then Affleck, Mignello, Heard, and they were in the same place. But very, very interesting. I saw Francisco's comment up there about no one complaining about Lord of the Rings Extended Edition for Return of the King. I've heard a lot of complaints about how it ends like 41
I've never
times.
seen it.
I saw that comment. So no one played the Endgame because one, Endgame was a lot shorter, and two, let's be honest.
How long was it?
Endgame earned it. All right, it's a 10-year build-up. They earned it. Okay, you can watch a long movie after 10 years of awesome, really cool movies.
Sure.
Lord of the Rings is a long movie series that comes from that's adapted from a long book series. So the fans who like the books, they're gonna like the long movies. That's just those people.
Sure. I saw Return of the King at midnight. Well, I saw them all at midnight, but I mean, Return of the King. I remember it was like after trailers, it was like almost 4 a.m. by the time I got out of the theater, and I was just so exhausted. I was like, oh my god,
was just waiting to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Right when they're going up the Mount Doom, I was like, I can hold it. And
Like Clark said, it's only 3 hours. I mean, that would be watching Endgame and then another third of Endgame to watch Justice League.
Right.
But like I said, I think Justice League. I think there's like a 2-hour, 45, even 3-hour super cut of this film that would be amazing. So I think once you get past that 3 hours, it's kind of a slog.
Sure.
And for me, it's really back heavy. And so my favorite additions were the first Justice League. Everyone that was not named Superman was completely irrelevant. The instant Superman shows up in whatever Russian analog country they're in, to where in this one, they needed Flash and they needed Cyborg. Without at least the two of them, this mission would have failed. To where in the first cut, it was like Superman's here, yay, the day is saved. Everyone, take
5.
take an orange slice or something like that. So, so I definitely like the inclusion of that. So, David, you're a little more critical than some of us. What is your not to me. I think I'm on the same page as you. But what was something that you liked that they added? You had mentioned the cyborg stuff.
I love that part at the end when the mother boxes did their thing and Superman got vaporized. That part was cool. But then Barry had to be like, I'm gonna turn it back real quick. I was like, Barry, you always mess up the timeline.
That's what he does. Kind of his thing.
But I did like the fights. I think I've really enjoyed the fight. Even starting from Man of Steel, just how they've been able to capture that. It was really hilarious to see Steppenwolf he just got rocked badly. Superman showed up and first off, I thought it was really weird that Superman decided to block the axe with his chest or over his shoulder.
The shoulder.
That could have been magic. You don't know. That could have been a really bad time for you. But no, I did like the new thing. I like that everyone had something to do. The only thing that was weird was that random parademon was able to somehow hit Barry Allen, who's going probably speed of light.
He flipped the coin and was like, "I got it."
That means that dude could probably tag Superman. Because remember, Superman had a hard time keeping up with the Flash when he got resurrected. This
he was holding off 2-3 other dudes while he was trying to fight Flash.
No. Remember when he threw him and they were in their super speed movement? It was no one else mattered at that point. It was just them. He couldn't hit Flash.
He just woke up from a long nap. He's a little
he hasn't had coffee yet.
But regular parademon was like, look, pew.
Yeah, 1 in a million. Tell the parademon to buy a lottery.
He was shooting a bunch of beams. He was trying to shoot
I would like to think that Parademon is playing have you ever played that game at Chuck E. Cheese where you have to win tickets at the light stopping at the exact moment? Yeah. And so he was playing that with the Flash. He's like, I've seen the Flash
so
show
in the game.
Nah, he was just spamming the fire button, and that's
he was like,
Batman
all right.
was taking out all the guys that were using those mounted cannons. So.
Yeah.
Well,
it was Cyborg took too long.
Yeah.
Cyborg needed to be faster. I agree with you. While it's very cool visually for Superman to stop his axe with his shoulder, it's a weird thing when he's got appendages.
Sure.
Right?
Weird flex.
Yeah.
All right.
What about AJ?
Oh, good.
I was just going to ask what AJ's favorite thing he was added.
I think the entirety of the final act, that fight where I think the original cut, they add that ugly red filter. Here, it is gone. And I was like, oh, thank God. This is the one thing I remember. And it's gone. And I like it. And I like how they even gave that slow-mo when they all came in. I was like, cool, Batman's in a car. This works. This works for me. And I think for some reason, I don't know why, but that Willem Dafoe, I'm like, all right, you weren't in the original, but I appreciate this.
Sure. Volko.
Yeah.
I think this is
When I heard his voice, I'm like, whoa. I'm like, awesome. Yeah, but that scene made Justin really sad, the scene with the red tint, because Justin's favorite part of the original one was that family. Hiding out.
Yeah.
With bug spray. That had
Yeah. The family that took up residence right next to a nuclear factory.
I'm so glad they were gone. I'm so glad they were gone.
Yeah. They got evicted before that, so
yeah. What was something you liked that was added, Justin?
I think I'm agree with the AJ. The whole final fight sequence was pretty gnarly. I definitely dug that, and I liked how when they finished off Steppenwolf, where it's a fork to the back, it's a punch to the face, it's a sword to the throat, and then it's a foot to the head, crushing blow. I thought that was he's done. There's no coming back from that, even in comics. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I would love to see more on Apocalypse with like the New Gods, with Granny Goodness, with Desaad and stuff like that. But they gave us just enough to make it really, really cool and really, really interesting. Like, sure, I would have loved more Darkseid, but I think the little bit of him we got, there's a lot of complaints about Thanos, taking it back to the MCU that there was kind of like he didn't seem that impressive because he kept failing and stuff like that. To where Darkseid, he was so not involved. He had people to do his dirty work. I think it really, really added to just the cool factor of him. So
yeah, and I thought that Desaad, is that his name, right? His little executive assistant that handles all of Steppenwolf's business. I really liked how he's like, nah, he's too busy to talk to you right now. Why don't you go ahead and tell me what you want to tell him, and then I'll relay it, and it'll be good. I definitely dug that. I thought that was great, and I like the re-edit of the battle on Earth with Earth's Mightiest Heroes. How it was Darkseid that came to the planet, and he was the one that was defeated. I mean, it did look a little, video gamey with visual effects, but at the end of the day, it was cool to see, the big bad show up and then him get taken down a peg or two to where he had to hop back on his little ship and take off rather.
He took an axe to the other side of his shoulder.
Yeah, that's kind of a thing in this movie.
Snyder's got a thing about shoulders.
Yeah.
They did chop off like that Green Lantern hand. I was like, "Ooh, what a tease!"
Oh, yeah.
He's gonna need that.
David Clark's like, "I'll take the ring now."
It should be mine.
Yeah.
It is interesting to talk about Green Lanterns in that one of the things that Snyder wanted to do at the end, that end scene where we have Martian Manhunter at the end, it's supposed to be 2 Green Lanterns, and Warner Brothers like, no, we got other plans for Green Lantern. You do something else. So it's definitely not the 100% unfiltered version. So I'm waiting for people to start crying, release the Snyder cut of the Snyder cut.
Release the Lantern cut, please.
Yeah, release the Lantern cut. We did get this. So we did get 2 Green Lanterns. We got to see the one who got his hand cut off, and then we got the one who kind of looked like Kilowog in the nightmare scene that was dead.
I think he was dead, Kilowog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad.
He was not around anymore. So,
Rip.
So is Sean the only one who watched it in parts? I watched it straight through. Did everyone else watch it straight through other than Sean?
If you count that one nap.
Oh yeah. That's funny because I've been to long movies in the theater that have had intermissions. JFK had an intermission and Gettysburg had an intermission. And I just remember thinking, what? Why is the movie stopped? How much more can possibly be left of this movie? It blew me away. So a 4-hour journey would definitely require a 10-minute bathroom break.
Yeah. Like, I think even when they did for Avengers, like you could watch all the movies in the theater one time. Like that's a no for me, man. That's a hard pass.
That's a no for me, dog. That's a no for me.
Yeah, I did one year where they showed all the Academy Award winning all the Academy Award nominated movies in a theater, but it was back when there was only 5, and before there was 9. So that was definitely a long day. And I know I had some friends who did the Lord of the Rings one, to where it was all 3 extended editions of Lord of the Rings, and that's like half a day. So, do you think, Justin, that this would have benefited from being a limited series instead of a 4-hour movie? Do you think that we would maybe have appreciated and liked it more if it had been, maybe 5, 40-minute episodes?
I think that there might be something to that, especially since a lot of people are complaining about the length. But I do think that with the use of chapters, it does make sense to play it out episodically. But of course, if it is a movie, then you could argue that a cohesive story should be told in a 2.5 to 3.5 hour format. So it's kind of a weird argument, to be honest with you. But I do think that for folks that, like my parents, if I were to suggest this to my parents, I would say just watch the chapter at a time, because that's just their attention spans. But when they first mentioned the Snyder Cut being a thing and it was coming to HBO Max, it was toyed with the idea. At least I remember reading that it was going to be like 4 parts, and I think that could have been really cool. And then once the 4 parts have aired, then you can watch it all at once. But whatever. Yeah, you're David Clark, so it'll stay up till 4 a.m. to watch it. So there's really no reason to do that, I suppose.
I prefer the straight shot. I'm either going to be super happy at the end or super sad. But either way, I got it done and over with.
Or sleeping.
Regardless, I got Falcon the Winter Soldier later on the night.
Yeah, that's another thing. For me, it actually ended I had 20 minutes to spare before Falcon and the Winter Soldier started.
Wow.
Double feature.
That was my bathroom break, I suppose. Had to reload on the snacks, wake myself up a bit. But
What about you, AJ? Do you think this would have benefited from being, in episodic form, or are you adjusting? Or Zack Snyder wanted me to watch this in 4 hours. I'm going to watch it in 4 hours.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards that just because in terms of for me, for movies, I want the whole plot. I want the entire story given to me at once. If they broke it down to the parts, I get it. But at the same time, if they try to do what they're doing with Falcon Winter Soldier, where it's oh yeah, you get the parts, but weekly, I would be no goes for that just because, it's I want the entire arc now. Not, I don't want it in 4 weeks. I want it in one sitting. So I'm more on that.
You're on that train.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Sean, you watched it in installments.
Mhm.
Do you think this would have benefited from being installments, or am I the only a-hole here?
I was hoping it was going to come out in installments. That's kind of why I stopped it at that point. But I'm wondering then, maybe this was the best case scenario for them, was if they released it in parts, you'd have the people who are waiting for all the episodes to air, or people kind of saying that it's not a concise story in each episode. But maybe that's why you have these these bookmarks that say chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. That might have been their idea to kind of meet both parties. We're saying if we put these in, then everyone can stop it if they want to.
Yeah, everyone's get to Superman.
yeah.
So in the case of myself, I got to, I think it's chapter 3 when they go in the tunnel, and I was chapter 3, stop, gonna go to sleep, gonna wake up tomorrow. And then
I think that's where I used the bathroom the first time.
yeah, that works.
So it's I was too much on a roll for all the extra content and all the backstory there, and I was I didn't like the tunnel scene, and I'm gonna step out until tomorrow, and then I'll prepare myself to be disappointed, and
There you go.
thankfully I was not disappointed, so that was good.
Vader's fist, he had too many characters, so I had to cut out the name. I apologize. But what do the mother boxes even do, and why should we, the viewer, care? That's my whole issue with them. I cared about the Infinity Stones. I still don't know what the mother boxes even do.
There's a whole flashback that explained it.
They're like organic computers.
Well, so this
The
goes to
Unity.
Yeah.
So this goes to my point about how Endgame earned it. There was buildup for the Infinity Stones over the course of a decade. Whereas this was hey, these things exist. I'm not really going to explain it too much. I'm just going to call them a change machine. They kind of do whatever. They were dormant for a long time. We actually forgot where they were because we're not super advanced or whatever. And they were waiting for the Kryptonian to die, even though there was at least 5,000 years where there were no Kryptonians.
Right. That's an interesting point.
They didn't really explain it. They didn't explain why there were no lanterns sent to protect these things when we already know the Lantern Corps knows where they are. There's no way the Lantern Corps is not hey, just send an honor guard. Somebody.
They're underfunded.
One dude. Send a guy.
The Lanterns don't care about it. Because it was a big deal when when Hal Jordan became the Guardian for this sector, and they're what? We have a Guardian for around Earth? Why?
I mean, I get not caring about Earth because for most of the time it was kind of irrelevant until superheroes. But the mother boxes though, the anti-life equation though, that makes it kind of important.
Yeah, well, you bring up a good point, and I really, really liked how this movie opened versus how the original one opened, in that, Superman dying kind of had this effect, and, the mother boxes recognized there was no Kryptonian. But it wasn't until 2 seconds ago when you mentioned it that, if they're around for 5,000 years, Superman was only here for 30 years or so, and most of that he was a kid who didn't know what he was doing, so, yeah, that might not hold water.
That's a flaw in the show.
It is, but yeah, I mean, I think they did their best of setting up the mother boxes as this, this vague super weapon that would destroy the universe if it got put together. But
what can you do?
The Sally 187?
Salty
Yep.
187.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Salty like a sea captain,
Yeah,
A grumpy
Murderer.
goose. Yeah,
Murderer.
a grumpy murderer. Yeah, there you go. Oh, I've been here for a second. Do you know if some Justice League figurines will be re-released? I missed out on Batman. Nothing to announce at this time, but there's always hope, I suppose.
Yeah, send your feedback to at Bluefin Brands or at Tamashii Nations, and we'll definitely share everything that you guys want with Tamashii. And who knows, if there's a will, there's a way.
There you go. How bad do you want it, Salty?
And you commit to buying 10,000.
But if he just runs really, really, really fast, he can turn back time and go back and get one.
Oh
Sure.
my
And then cause a whole alternate reality.
Yeah.
There are consequences, David.
Yeah, you could burn your
Yeah,
shoes
it's
like Flash.
I knew it. I was gonna say before, like, yeah, David doesn't care about it, but he beat me to it. Fister.
Or just be like Superman and fly back in time,
Yeah, flying's better.
They do that. Now, obviously the superheroes get all of the credit, but we had some pretty cool, non-powered people in this movie. Lois Lane is obviously a key figure in the Snyderverse and DC as a whole. She is the key. Lois is the key.
Lois the key.
Who there was a very, very emotional scene between Ma Kent and Lois Lane as being the only two people on the planet who can legitimately say they loved the person that is Superman, that is Clark Kent. And then after that scene, Ma Kent leaves, and then we realize she's Martian Manhunter. And while I love Martian Manhunter, is one of my favorites, and I was excited to see him on screen, I felt that it just ruined this, arguably one of the better scenes in the film by making it like, oh, okay, this is different. So Sean, did that? A, did you care about the emotional scenes, or are you just fighty punch guy? And B, does it negate the emotion of that scene by having it be the Martian Manhunter at the end?
Well, my issue with that scene was he told her to go back to work, and if she went straight back to work, she wouldn't have brought that coffee to the cop and been there when Superman woke up. So I think she says one last time when she gets that coffee, she tells the cop, she gives him the coffee and says this is the last time, and that's the one time when Superman wakes up. So basically, if she wouldn't have done that as her last time, or if they would have planned another day to awaken Superman, she would not have been at that monument to show up and be like, stop Superman from destroying the Justice League.
The Martian Manhunter.
So Martian Manhunter almost screwed over the entire Justice League for that one emotional scene. But I was happy that I think the scene where Clark starts getting his memory back and he says something about the ring, he says oh, you're wearing it. And that's when you realize he has his memory back. In the Joss Whedon cut, that was a flashback for Lois. I think she was that's how it starts, where she's asleep, or she has that scene and then she wakes up in bed and Clark's not there. But this time it was used as that emotional, he remembers Lois and he's starting to get his memory back. And now that's when I think his mom shows up and they have that emotional scene. So although the Martian Manhunter scene was trying to be emotional and you realize, oh, it's Martian Manhunter, there's no, all that emotion that was built up there between the two characters is gone. And then it kind of redeemed itself, I guess, where then you have the mom and Lois and Clark show up later, and it's Clark as Clark, where she even tells him you're back, and Clark is he's Superman again. So in the Joss Whedon cut, it was just kind of you didn't know, is Superman evil? Does he remember? Because he looks at Batman and says, "Do you bleed?" So he remembered that Batman told him this. So it's dude, Clark or Superman is now evil, and it's he basically, the mother box made him kind of evil in the Joss Whedon cut. But in this one, you understand that he just lost his memory and he doesn't know what's going on, but he remembers Lois, and that's the key, is remembering Lois. Even though in what Zack Snyder has explained about the future of what the key means with Lois, it's a whole nother arc where you see the dark side having killed Lois. That's where the key, what he meant by that. But at least I don't know, there was the long explanation of a short thing, but I don't think it should have been Martian Manhunter. That probably wasn't the best time to introduce him and say oh, guess what, that's not an emotional thing. But it redeemed itself with that other scene. If that other scene wasn't in there, then it's no, it shouldn't have been in there.
And then he's in such a hurry to get from the Kent farm to help the Justice League out. He's got time to stop back off at Metropolis and go through his closet and be like, I'm in a gothy type mood today. Let's go black suit.
Right. Everything about Martian Manhunter was bad in this movie because he sat out
for
so much.
Yeah.
So he's irrelevant and useless. This man has all this power. He's like, Doomsday? Nah, they got that. Plutonian attack? Nah, they got
But
that.
what if he's got
the end of the world? Nah, they got that.
Yeah,
No,
there's that
I'm sorry,
meme
I
that's
can't let
going
that
around. Yeah, like the meme's like, this man sat out for several events. Yeah, that's not going to fly with me. Why?
And he's
Maybe he had a note.
when it's all over, he's like, okay, guys, I'm here to help you. Nah, get out of here.
And he told Bruce, I got you next time. Next time.
Right? What happened to
Yeah.
this time?
The
last time.
the Superman level power character who can shapeshift and phase through things. He's like, yeah, I think the guy dressed like a bat's got this one.
I got a tea time that I got to attend to.
Money can
Yes.
accomplish
Oh my
anything in this
brain.
world, so that's what he decided. Like he's got enough
Yeah.
money. He can just throw money at it. I'll fix that problem. This is how this world works.
I mean, you're never wrong to rely on Batman because he's Batman. But still, he could have showed up in something.
Hey, well let's give him a little bit of credit. He got Lois Lane to get her badge and think about returning to work.
Which would have screwed over the entire Justice League then.
Yeah, we didn't see her actually return to work. He's like, Lois Lane, get back to work.
But like, we didn't need her though.
Stop crying.
We didn't really need her though. Like, if Superman had come back and Martian Manhunter showed up, he could have did his little mind trick and like, hey Clark, real quick, I know you're confused. Let's do some mind stuff and then fix them,
He
which
could
would have
just
been more
transform into
useful
Lois.
than. He could have done so many things.
There was too much fire, David.
Yeah.
That's his weakness.
Oh, the
is
cop
fire.
car was on fire. So
But then that would have been a good time to show him having to react to his fear. That's a thing we would have learned about his character. Right now, all I know is that in this universe that he works for the military sometimes, maybe, I don't know, that could be possibly, and then he just doesn't help.
He's busy.
That's what I
Busy
know
man.
about him.
He's a very busy guy.
That's he's a general now. General
Yeah.
Swanwick. He's got minions to do all the work.
He saw how they react to aliens. Everyone wanted
Mhm.
Superman dead. He's
Yeah.
like, oh man, I better not come out as the Manhunter.
Oh, right.
There you go, like
name.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I did see one of the other comments you put on the screen about how Kryptonians have landed there thousands of years ago.
Yes.
So my counterpoint to that is, what about the other periods of thousands of years in between those points? I mean, shoot, even if it was just like a span of a 1 year.
But maybe
You'd
they
be
were
like, hey,
scared of the
good.
possibility of Kryptonians. At least now they
in
know.
and out, 30-minute mission, very quick.
what if they're sleeping?
Yeah.
Huh?
They might have been asleep.
Yeah.
They had to
I mean, they
recharge.
weren't. if they didn't wake up when this stuff happened, no, they're not there. They're not asleep. You could have did it.
Right.
I don't buy that.
They
I'm
like their
sorry.
sleep.
Yeah.
Don't know what to tell you, man.
They hit the snooze. They kept hitting the snooze button like,
Oh.
next Kryptonian, next Kryptonian.
they needed that update, and he kept saying like, "Oh, update," and they're like, "Nah, next time."
Yeah, would you like
He's like, wake
updates
up
for
next time.
Motherbox firmware?
And then he had forgot where they put him, bro. Come on, man. Facebook should have been able to remind him, hey, you left the mother boxes on Earth like 5,000 years ago. Something.
Well, he
Facebook memory 5,000 years ago left Motherbox with the Amazons.
Right.
Darkseid's a
right
person
there.
who, if he lost a battle, he would say, and then that didn't happen. Let's like put that in the rug. And he's like, we never went to that planet in the first place.
Nah,
I didn't take
Darkseid's
an
going to
axe
sit
to
there in
the-"
his chair and brood and then come back and try and murder you.
Well,
He's
yeah,
like,
but
"Earth,
he's
what
going to
are you talking
remember
about?"
where he put it, but he's not going to tell anyone else. And maybe he just left that memo someplace and he eventually forgot.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. Like they just kind of forgot how to get to Earth or what the planet was, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, I found it. It's
I think
here."
they took a left on Mars.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Space Highway.
Yeah. Is the one past Mars or before Mars? I can't remember which one.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing those are the only mother boxes in existence because they couldn't have boom tube there. I'm guessing there's only 3, and they're only on Earth. Is that what we're doing? Is that what's cool in the streets right now?
Willing suspension
We've all
of
lost our
disbelief.
keys.
He's like,
We
fine, I
lost
don't
our
need these
keys
mother
before.
boxes no more. And that's what happened. He lost the battle, and he was like, we're gonna forget about this
Yeah.
It's like, we'll do it
until I
Also-
need him again, and then
It's also not very-
what's happening.
Also, not very scary to introduce your big bad, and then like the first time you see him, he loses. Like some nameless people.
Just
Not a
Aries
good look.
without mustache
That's
this time.
That's the Kylo Ren problem. I'm your big bad. I mean, every time you see me, I'm gonna lose, but fear me,
Well,
please.
but I mean, I feel like we've seen that forever. I mean, Skeletor always loses. Megatron always loses.
Yeah, but they're
Well, I mean, you
they're
could bring
not the
you
big
can bring it
bad
back
in the universe.
to Lord of the Rings. You know that opening scene, which is incredible. Sauron
Sauron
gets his finger cut off and loses the One Ring.
With a broken
But,
sword.
But then it becomes like the threat of like Sauron coming back because we needed this enormous army, like a once in a lifetime, once in a whole like life cycle of a planet army to defeat it. And I feel that's what they do with the Mother Box is they assemble these people, and to where nowadays the Amazonians and the Atlanteans hate each other, so they're not going to interact with each other, and then we're people and we're liability. Yeah.
People are people.
Yeah, so why does it seem? So I think that obviously the time was ripe to re-engage with us, and maybe it was just the Mother Box is just doing like the math, like, all right, people suck, Atlanteans hate Amazons hate Atlanteans. All right, we got a small window, Superman's dead, fight.
Let's do it.
But it waits until it has the fastest man alive, one of the smart people alive, Cyborg who's got Mother Box technology, and the Amazonian God Killer is now at the height of her powers. It's a bad time to come back.
Flip the coin.
I mean, if you're gonna add in all that stuff, David, then it's just not gonna work. Can't.
Logic?
Well, you're using Zack Snyder logic in that like these people actually matter. See, in the original version, none of the people you mentioned mattered, so it was like it was prime time.
What the Mother Box should have did is when Clark landed on the planet as a baby, be like, "Hey, Darkseid, there's a baby Kryptonian. All right, he's stupid because he's like 3 months old. We're gonna come down there. We're gonna kidnap him. We're gonna brainwash him, make him to your perfect soldier, and then we're gonna take over the universe."
Right. So this goes back to what David said. Like, him losing is to show us that it took everyone to beat him, and now we just have 6 people. So I mean, it's exactly what Edmondson was saying: is that it took everyone to get together to do this, and now we're a world divided, and so it's not going to work.
Darkseid is supposed to have this air of being unbeatable. He is a new god, and I saw him take an arrow to the chest, get hit with an axe, and then dragged onto his ship. Like,
it was a very pointy arrow.
I think
it was shot by like Zeus shot it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like me or you at like an archery range shooting it. It was Zeus.
It's
not Katniss. It's Zeus.
Zeus.
I mean,
Zeus.
there's different ways of beating Darkseid that don't leave him dragged onto a ship. Like, one of the things that I liked about for Justice League Apocalypse when the animated film, when they went back to Apocalypse to get back Supergirl, and like Superman, Darkseid, they were fighting. It wasn't going well for Superman, and then Batman came in and was like, "Hey, real quick, I'm gonna blow up your planet if you don't give me Supergirl back." And then he tries to get Batman to flinch, and he's like, if the Amazonian or Kryptonian that tried this, I wouldn't believe them, but I believe you would destroy the planet. And then he let them go. Darkseid held that L. They beat him, but not by punching him in the face. They found another way. Now later on in the movie, though, there was a great beatdown. It was fantastic. But it was a Supergirl and Superman, team up or whatever. But I think there should have been another way to beat him without, in the first 5 minutes of me seeing big bad new god Darkseid, he's being dragged into a ship bleeding. I'm just
tell me you can beat Darkseid without telling me you can beat Darkseid.
Find another way, like ruin his goal, maybe scatter them Mother Boxes, or maybe take over control of one, or teleport him back to Apocalypse, or do something. But I think there could have been other ways, and because he doesn't seem scary. He doesn't. Like, I know now Superman's going to be able to punch him and kill him, basically. Because
Superman's the best. Right there, you just told me that Superman is the best.
No, he's strong.
It's on video. You just said Superman is the best.
I'll have to look back and this is evidence.
Never. He's strong.
He's giving up on Batman.
But
he's quit Batman. Yep.
I mean, the real heroes in Future Employee of the Months are the ones who brought Darkseid into the ship. Like, if my boss is Darkseid, I'm going to be like, oh no, he's totally going to die. What can we do? I don't know, like retreat and leave him, maybe?
Yeah. They're like, don't worry, boss, we got you. And they throw him on.
Yeah. I'm a little too much, I'm a little more Starscream than Shockwave.
Yeah.
I'm so glad when Clark started this entire conversation about it, when he's like, he's a baby. For some reason, I had thought like the Don Cheadle moment and like Endgame, where he's like,
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, good, it didn't go that route. All right.
Just think of how much more powerful his army could be if he could just kidnap baby Clark Kent. Think about it, man. It'd be amazing. It's great.
Yeah.
Oh man,
That made more sense than waiting.
With Don Cheadle.
My
Oh
goodness.
man.
Well, nice. Well, I think we all agree that it was definitely an improvement. So maybe we'll go around, and if you feel comfortable giving a letter grade to both the original and the Zack Snyder cut, so we can see where your head's at. We can kind of figure it out. So we'll start left to right. Justin, what would your grade have been for the original Justice League, the Joss Whedon version, versus the Zack Snyder Justice League?
Sure, I'd say a C minus for Joss Whedon, and then I'd say a solid B for Snyder Cut.
All right. What about you, Sean?
I would almost do the same word, C minus for Josh Whedon. Although it's not a very good movie, what he was able to accomplish by like cutting pieces up, it's serviceable, I guess. It could be something, but I'd give probably an A minus to the Snyder Cut, just because it was basically put together to be what it is, and what it is all the scenes that you wanted to see. It's what you would have expected. There's nothing like cut. There's nothing trimmed out that wasn't going to be in it. So.
Yeah, love letter to those thousands of fans who wanted it. What say you, Mr. Clark?
So the original one, I would give it a C, just because I was just happy to see the League on screen. I remember watching it at New York Comic Con with some of the friends from who come to our booths at the show. So it was pretty cool. Snyder Cut, I have to give it a B, just 'cause it is just all around just a better film, like objectively so. And I love the effects, and I mean it's probably not going to happen, but I do like some of the doors that it's opening. It could open for other movies, so I'd give it a B.
Nice. All right, AJ, A plus and A plus.
No.
Which one didn't you fall asleep in? Got over the top of your grade.
I was gonna say that. I actually fell asleep on both. So
Yo, really?
So it's not the length; it's the content.
I'm telling you, like when the original Justice League came out, I do those midnight premieres, and I'm like, I had like a busy day. So the moment you get in the theater, and you're like, oh man, this is a nice chair, and then you like sip on your drink. Oh, this is a good drink. Like nap out. Like, so I'm gonna go with D on original Justice League, just because I
Dang.
don't remember it too well, and then I'm gonna give
You
it
say
the
I'm
B.
harsh.
I mean, I'm doing it based on how I react, but like I'm gonna give the new Zack Snyder a B as well. I think there was a lot more info that I felt was portrayed and given in this film. I mean, sure, the 4 hours is pretty long, but I mean, like Justin said, we've been able to binge series and other stuff like in one sit down. So I don't know why I couldn't do it for this kind of movie. So I took a nap. I didn't sleep so for a long period of time. So it gets to be for me.
You got your rest in the movie. You're like, I'm ready to start my day again.
I will say I don't think I've ever fallen asleep at the movie where I woke up at the credits. It'll always be like I knocked out for like 5 minutes, and what did I miss? Did you miss the important part? How?
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
No. I guess I'll buy another ticket.
Buy another ticket. Yeah.
What about you, Dave?
Well, I would say the original one I would give a D as well. It was pretty incongruous, and I would say B minus, C plus for the Zack Snyder cut. Probably B minus just because I don't want to be that guy. I think it's important to note that while Joss Whedon turned out to not be a great human being, that the Justice League movie is not his fault. He was given 4.5 hours of Zack Snyder footage and told by the executives at Warner Brothers, you have like $8 and 8 weeks to make this a 2-hour movie. So I mean, he definitely did all he could do. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people are unfairly mixing two things. They're mixing, the recent controversy with him with this Justice League. And, I don't think that's fair. All the other stuff, about stuff that's coming out about him, that's fair game. That's all good. But, it's not his fault that the first Justice League was, a mess.
Sure. Yeah. See, I didn't even give it the worst grade. See,
F would be the worst grade. F would be forgettable.
I am tough on the things that I love.
Perfect.
There it is.
Can't imagine.
I honestly think if they were to get rid of all the slow motion and it just be in real time, then the movie probably would have been 3 hours long.
Oh yes, thank you so
the
much.
Entire flash
I
scene would
hate
be
the
in
slow
like
mo.
a minute or like 10 seconds.
It's instant.
Yeah, I know. It's like we shouldn't even see it. Everything should just be fine. The Flash is like, I took care of it. NBD.
Yeah, there's like a millisecond blink of like destruction, and then it's back to normal. Like,
Dog and hot dog.
what happened? Oh, Flash probably, and the Flash is in the corner like this. Like, yeah, don't worry, I got you.
Hot dog.
Yeah.
And the hot dog.
It's
Oh,
like dogs and hot dog. Haha.
Yeah.
perfect.
Oh, man.
Well, if you're in the chat, leave us your grades, what you thought both the original cut of the Justice League and the Zack Snyder Justice League was. We would love to hear. Who's crazy? Is Clark and I crazy for being so down on this? Are you on Team Sean and Team AJ and Team Justin, where like this is the greatest thing they've ever seen in their lives? That's right. I just put words in Justice's mouth.
I wore a Snyder vest just for this occasion too.
I thought it was like the anniversary of Ferris Bueller's Day Off or something.
I know, right? Say first.
So yeah, definitely leave us a comment. Make sure to follow us at Bluefin Brands across all the social platforms to make sure that your voice is heard. I know a lot of you were asking if we were going to have figures for the Snyder Cut or for Justice League. The best thing to do is to tag us in your post like, oh, wouldn't it be great if we got blank? We love to share that information with Tamashii and Storm and all of the other companies that we work with. And you never know. I would have said a couple years ago that they're never going to release that Snyder Cut, even no matter how many hashtags and change.org
Right.
there were. And, everyone who said it wouldn't happen were wrong. And this film is definitely for those tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people who just never gave up. So follow your dreams, kids. You might get a 4-hour version of a 2-hour movie made one day.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, so that is it for this live stream. Make sure to follow us at Bluefin Brands, like I mentioned. Go to bluefinbrands.com to all of these cool sales. You can check out there and enter our contest and come back at 10 o'clock when we are going to be discussing who would win in a fight.
12
That-
o'clock,
I don't know
right?
about
12 o'clock.
12
Did
o'clock.
I say 10?
You said 10, yeah.
Oh, I thought we
Going
were
back
doing
in
like
time.
the Flash, like go back in time.
Yeah.
Run, everyone, run now!
Yeah.
So
He
new.
ran stupid, by the way.
Yeah,
His
new
running was stupid, by the way.
PSP.
So
yeah.
he doesn't ruin his feet.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of friction. So thanks, guys, and thanks all the guests, and we will see you guys back at 12 o'clock PST.
Perfect.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.